Advanced Dental Materials, ADM, is a company that has long been engaged in the use of different kinds of fiber reinforcements in the field of restorative and prosthetic dentistry. I would like to briefly introduce their products, discuss the clinical applications, technical features and advantages over conventionally used materials. ADM has two product lines on the market, Dentapreg and Fibrafil. The Dentapreg line covers advanced structural composites for the strengthening or splinting of teeth within a wide range of clinical applications. Dentapreg products have been on the market for more than 20 years, while Fibrafil products are a new class of hybrid biomimetic composite materials for replacing dentin, especially in large restorations. Fibrafil is a new class of biomimetic hybrid composite system for dentin replacement in cases at increased risk of mechanical failure, which applies primarily to large-scale restorations and buildups where the original biomechanics is severely disturbed. Fibrafil Cube contains reinforcing fibers in the form of continuous fiber reinforcement in discrete cube-shaped application doses. Fibrafil Dentin utilizes condensable dispersed fiber reinforcement. Fibrafil Flow uses this same technology in a flowable composite paste. The functionality of these systems is based on targeted redistribution of applied stresses, minimizing the effect of stress concentration and reducing the possibility of brittle fracture propagation through the material volume. These are the principles underlying the biomechanics of intact teeth which we are trying to reproduce. This is one of the clinical situations that we want to avoid. To understand how, we need to look at the biomechanics of an intact tooth. The enamel portion of the tooth works like a compression biodome that transfers the applied stress to the ligament and alveolar bone. The dentin-enamel junction, DEJ, and the dentin itself prevents the propagation of cracks due to its complex structure and toughness. But what happens when the original biomechanics is disrupted? The mechanism of stress distribution and the ability of the tooth to react to it changes. Loading from mastication expands cusps span, which generates areas of stress concentration. Ultimately, in the case when the level of stress exceeds the load-bearing capacity of the structure, the fracture occurs. Fibrafil products redistribute the applied stresses to a larger area by generating tension in the fibers. Membrane reinforcement serves as a safety net, similar to steel armatures, also known as rebar in concrete structures. This is the same science used in the manufacturing of modern composite boat hulls. This increases the marginal integrity of the fillings and reduces the risk of catastrophic failure. Here you see a cross-section of the tooth and in 3D, which gives you a better idea about the orientation of the reinforcing elements in the cavity. So this was the first biomechanic principle of stress redistribution and reducing the effect of the stress concentration. The other principle is based on the natural property of dentin, which is impact toughness. Dentin thus forms an ideal support under hard and brittle enamel. In the case of a restoration made of a conventional resin composite, the crack can propagate relatively easily because there is no structural barrier to prevent it. When a structural barrier in the form of the reinforcing fibers is present, the potential for crack propagation is largely constrained. This is because when the head of the crack hits the surface of the fiber, it has to consume a lot of energy to break it and propagate further. This table provides an overview of all the key physical properties of Fibrafil products, including flexural and compressive strength, hardness, strength of the adhesive joint with hard dental tissues, sorption and solubility, depth of cure, and volumetric contraction upon polymerization. This simple graph demonstrates the reinforcing effect. It is a comparison of a flexural strength of a beam with and without fiber reinforcement. Fibrafil Flow material achieves the highest fracture toughness when compared to other name brands of flowable composite materials. 6 benefits of using Fibrafil. 1. Redistribution of stresses. 2. Resistance to crack propagation. 3. Minimally invasive. 4. Longevity and clinical reliability. 5. Biocompatibility. 6. Ease of application. The remainder of this short educational video will highlight 7 clinical cases. Case report number 1 represents a large Class II restoration. Fibrafil Flow with dispersed fiber reinforcement was used as a liner, and Fibrafil Cube with oriented membrane reinforcement was placed into the cavity preparation to protect the weakened tooth walls. Case report number 2 represents a post-endodontic reconstruction where a Fibrafil Cube was used to support the approximal wall, then a composite reinforced post was cemented in place and the tooth restored. Case report 3 utilizes Fibrafil Flow to line the floor and undermined enamel, then Fibrafil Cube placed to replace the removed dentin. A universal composite was placed over the Fibrafil Cube to create the anatomy and desired finish. Case report 4 is very similar to case report 2. This shows a restored molar. Case report 5. This 41-year-old female had endodontic treatment of tooth number 8 years ago and restored with a core buildup and porcelain crown. The patient fractured part of the tooth and the core buildup with the attached crown fell out. A larger post space was created by cleaning the gutta percha from the canal. 6 Denipreg pin posts were cemented into the canal, and the buildup was done with Fibrafil Flow. Once cured, the tooth was isolated with gingival retraction cord and a new porcelain crown fabricated for this patient. This 45-year-old male presented with severe attrition of his lower right first and second molar. A laser was used to prepare the teeth, then micro-etched to enhance retention. Fibrafil Flow was used as a dentinal layer, and Filtech composite used as enamel to restore function. Here is another case study. 63-year-old male with severe wear of his 3 lower anterior teeth. Fibrafil Flow was used as a dentin layer and Voco composite for the enamel layer during the build-up procedure. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments section, and I usually respond to questions and comments within 24 to 48 hours. Also, look in the description section for additional resources and up-to-date edits or changes. Thank you for watching. Take a moment to subscribe and like. Have a great day today and every day.